it gets kind of super overwhelming. Just even wanting to try to explain the massive way in which this place is screwed up. Feels like some basically sorry food, but yeah, I mean it doesn't even seem like it could be real, really. If I was trying to come up with some kind of a logical sounding explanation for this, I basically got nothing. I'd have to be like, well, I guess less than 1% of the population of the Earth is dominating billions of people and owns basically everything and or claims to own basically everything, and the vast majority of people don't seem to care or notice that we're all being fucking robbed and enslaved. And so now we live in a world where we live in like this false reality where we've all lost our freedom. Just a tiny handful of people maintain freedom while the rest of us are forced to live in poverty and fucking, servility, live like slaves. I managed to divide people, to divide families, to divide nations, to divide everything. I remember thinking about, I had this thought, about how I just want a piece of land, someplace where I can have a roof and four walls, someplace where I can grow a garden, have a little farm or something, be able to live my fucking life. I remember this song from when I was a kid. I used to be this, super patriotic kid. So I remember singing all these. I'd be singing all these patriotic songs. I remember, this land is your land. This land is my land. California, the New York Island. Da, 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 this land was made for you and me. Yeah. It's like we're in a fucking. It's basically like it's like we're in a world where I don't know. Imagine like an office pizza party or something, right? Or like a high school pizza party where they whatever, right? You got like a whole cafeteria full of people there, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of pizzas, right? Enough to make everyone full and happy and so on. But instead, what you've got is you've got like, let's say there's 100, I don't know, say there's 100 kids or a couple hundred kids there, but there's only like one or two of them just have all of the pizzas to themselves, and everyone else is like just has to starve basically, or come crawling on our hands and knees to get a bite of the that's that's where we're at right now. It's ridiculous. Even though the ones that have everything are outnumbered like millions to one or something. It's insane. the only species that has to pay to live on Earth, basically, you know. Yeah, not only that, but like, you know, in order to be able to pay to live, you're forced to live your life in a way that's centered around the pursuit of money and centered around this basically false way of living that's forced upon us in the same way that the need to have this money to keep paying and paying forever is forced upon us. Like our entire existence is false here, you know? Like the whole, in basically almost from birth to death, our life has been planned and plotted out for us, and it's been taken away from us. It's been stolen from us. You know? Like everything. Or like fucking, you know, animals born into captivity or something, basically. Forced to perform in the circus forever. Except unlike animals, we aren't even really provided adequate shelter or, you know. I don't know, I guess that's kind of... We're basically, I mean, people want to... It's true, though, like, that's where our species is, basically, and it's ridiculous, like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, if you're trying to think of this as a physical world, which, honestly, if you start to really think about a lot of things, after a while you get to a point where you're like, you realize that there's no way that this situation we're in happens organically, that this just, you know, it's like a slave planet, basically, but I don't know, maybe it's like the Gnostic idea of this being like a louche farm, like a world that's designed to create suffering and pain, that something is feeding off of our suffering. I don't know, man. It's so weird. I guess I may be going off on a tangent here now, but I was just gonna say it's so weird because, like, I can still remember, you know, a lot of stuff about my childhood and how different everything was, and basically all the lies that we were told, all of us were told. I really feel like there was nothing done to prepare me for the way this world is. I guess they tried, but like it's just, well, in a sense, The thing is that they just lie to us about everything, and they try to use lies as a way to control us, to keep us in line. But if you see through the lies and you realize that it's all bullshit, and you start to wonder, where's my motivation, especially when you've been abandoned by everyone around, because like we it's like everything has been taken from us, even the sort of like familial bonds and unity, the family uh, type of thing, the human connection that people had with each other. We've been robbed blind and debased. I don't know, man. Just a lot of what's been done, like there's so many things that have been done to like divide, like the way the world is. There's a million little things that they've done over the last even just 20, 25, 30 years, 35 years, whatever the hell, right? But have been done in this country, for instance, in the US and in many other places. It's a lot of little things that add up to like a massive change for the worse. And so many of these things are done in the name of bettering society and things like that. They trick us into all these destructive things by saying that they're helpful or good for us or something. They come up with a thing like the internet, social media, and texting and things like that, saying that it'll bring people closer together. But people have never been more divided and more further apart. They take a bunch of groups of people and cram them in tight together so that, a lot of just mixing all sorts of different types of people together that don't mix well, you know? I don't know. It's kind of like if you took like, say, I don't know, house ant or carpenter ants or something, and you throw them in with fire ants and so on and so forth, and then you shake up the jar, watch what happens. Like, all the colors of the rainbow, everybody just get along. It just doesn't work. I don't know, it just. People need space, and there's plenty of space for people to have their own space, to have their own, their own sort of tribes or whatever, and people could get along in that regard. But you can't just force a bunch of people to be crammed in so compact together, that have different types of, I don't know, different cultures, different beliefs, different, just things that lead to conflict, conflicting beliefs and so on and so forth. And then cram everybody in together. It doesn't go well. there's still groups of people hating and fighting with groups of people that they've been fighting with, that their families have been fighting with for for 1,000 years or more or something, like that's the level of division that there is with certain people, and you can't just throw those people in together and be like, oh, this will be fine, right? It's just, I made some, I guess, kind of goulash, except they don't have any kidney beans that I'm aware of, so. Mm, kind of a pasta. Turned out okay. I heated up way too many noodles, so I had to open another can of pasta sauce and then cut up some like leftover hot dogs to throw in with it and some onions and spices and things just to make like more of some, I used ground beef for the initial batch, but then I heated up way too many noodles and I didn't want to waste them, so I had to make more just using what I had available. I don't know, I would have tried to go out and work or something, but I definitely need to make more money, make more money. Heck, that's the whole, seems to be like the whole purpose of existence here. Make money, pay money, make money, pay money, make money, pay money, make money, pay money, chase money, pay money. Chase money, other people take your money. Chase down more money, other people take your money. So on and so forth. That's life here, right? Is that adulting? That's what we're supposed to believe? That's not adulting. You know what this place is? The shit they call adulting is a big part of it. Like it's like it's kind of like we're farm animals or something, or like zoo animals or something. More like farm animals because we have to go perform or something, or we're put out to pasture. I don't know. I was gonna say it's kind of like school. It's like we're in grade school forever or something. Never comes the day when we don't have to ask permission to use the bathroom and don't have to get a hall pass, and never comes the day when we're not looking for the gold star on our report card. Never comes the day when we're free to do whatever the fuck we want to do with our time. Free to go out and play, you know? I don't know, man. Some people manage to make it to a point where they built up enough money, they're able to get a piece of land and go out and have a farm, have a home, family, so on and so forth. The lucky ones. But you're still, even in that position, you know, the world we live in now, you're still forced to take part in the economic system, forced to pay and pay and pay. You don't have money to pay your pay and pay and pay never ending property taxes or whatever bills they try to hit you with. They'll come along and steal your land, you know? You build your house in the wrong place or not up to some specific code that they say it has to be, then they'll say you're not allowed to live there. You know, that's. I gotta do something, you know? I don't know what the fuck to do, but it's just driving me nuts here. It's driving me nuts. I don't want to be here in this fucking shitty apartment in this shitty town. At the same time, it's like, I don't know. I find myself constantly. It's almost nonstop. This feeling inside of me, this desire to go home. I just want to go home. I just want to say, screw you guys, I'm going home. You know? If I don't have a home, there doesn't seem to be any home in this world for me. I just want to hug my loved ones. Except I don't know that I have anyone that actually loves me in this world left anymore. You know? I can understand why people go dark and why people get like just flip out and go and end up doing evil shit, you know, because this place is so fucking unfair. No, I mean I kind of get it, you know. Like I don't know. Those last few days when I was out doing Walmart Spark deliveries, there's this guy with a cardboard sign trying to get people to give him money. And he just had the, as you drive past, you're not standing, you know, not stopping to hand money out to him every time you pass it. I'm just going to make deliveries, so I'm going in and out of there. And this guy's just like glaring at me with like this look like he'd like to fucking kill me or something because I'm not. I'm barely getting by. Barely managing to have any fucking shelter myself. I don't know how people do it without losing your fucking mind. I guess a lot of people manage to get together and I honestly wonder sometimes, like, what the hell this place is. Like, are we even the same fucking species? I really don't hardly feel that. It's hard for me to feel that familiar bond with people anymore because I don't know. It's like one of these things is not like the other. I just feel like I don't belong anywhere. I feel like we're not even the same species. Like the species that I'm surrounded by is hostile and I don't know, not good. I don't, not everyone, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that have changed over the years, and maybe that if I had to try to come up with some kind of logical or view on what's going on here, if it was a physical world and so on and so forth, and you'd have to think that at the very least the majority of people have been hypnotized, like drugged or hit with some kind of mind altering wave. I don't know, like maybe 5G mind control or something. I don't know what the heck's going on, right? But like, and also it's just like, I don't know, it's like the doors of every insane asylum on earth have just swung wide open and the people are out just walking around. We're just surrounded by people that are like, everyone's crazy as fuck. I realized this, like, the more I delved into crazy and the more conversations I've had with all sorts of people that seem perfectly normal, the more I realized, like, we're all kind of fucking nuts in some sort of way. I feel like I'm mostly nuts by just due to like stress and trauma of being surrounded by fucking crazy people in a world that's completely crazy and just being under constant threat basically. It's almost like the stress of like imagine how stressed out a deer would be if you just dropped a deer off and say like a wildlife preserve, but in the section where the lions or the hyenas or wolves or something are. The deer's just like being chased everywhere, can't stop to rest, can't, it's barely manages to get a drink of water or rest for just a moment and has to run again because it's being chased by things that want to eat it. Like, that's the way, that's the kind of stress. gotta get out of here. Paid my damn rent. Cleaned the room out. Paid the rent. Running low on money again. Large part because I paid the rent, I guess. And there's more bills coming up. More bills and 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 more bills. I don't know, I'll be honest, like I haven't felt... No, I don't really feel safe most of the time, you know? I'm locking doors and pushing furniture in front of the doors to go to sleep. Like I gotta have a weapon nearby to take a shower or to take a shit. I feel like I'm in the middle of a fucking war zone. But it's like... I don't know, how do I put this? Let's take an incident like the Tet holiday in Vietnam, right? Say you're in the army in Vietnam or something. It's a Tet holiday, right? There's been a ceasefire. You've been ordered to stand down and I don't know. Or imagine if you were sent into Fallujah or something, right? With your, army guys or whatever. You were sent in there, but you were told that this is a peaceful operation, so you're not be allowed to engage the enemy, and nor are you allowed to carry weapons with you, right? And you're just supposed to walk in there like la 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 la, and the world just shits, and everybody around is just like shitting all over you, surrounded by fucking lethal threats to your life, surrounded by people that fucking hate you, but you're not supposed to be able to do anything about it, kind of thing. Like that's what it feels like. Every time I go outside or to go work or go shopping or whatever the fuck, man, I feel like I don't know, like, I don't know, like Steve Irwin or like, what was that guy, the Bear Whisperer, or the guy that hangs out with lions or something, and he just like walks into a pen full of fucking lions and pets them and stuff. Like that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm just surrounded by predators that want to fucking eat me, and I've got to pretend like I gotta like play it cool all the time. Because if people sense fear, if the predator senses fear or something, then they'll attack, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it's like it's, yeah. Basically. Oh. I hate this shit. And then, like, you know, what's the alternative to doing what I'm doing, trying to make money and pay the bills and so on? Well, then, if you don't do that, then you're just stuck outside, surrounded by these motherfuckers. You don't even have four walls, door to lock, or nothing. I don't know, man. It's kind of, I guess, yeah, that would be somewhat of a way of describing how I feel in this world, like, the society that we live. I don't know. It's like perfume on a pig or something. I feel like I'm in Jumanji or something. Like everything out there is like out to get me and, you know, kind of thing. But I have to play it cool. And pretend like everything's okay. I honestly very much feel like I wish I'm about ready to just give up on the world the way it is out there, honestly. But it's almost like that's not even a fucking choice. Like, I don't know. What's that called? Agoraphobia, when people just lock themselves in their house and they never go out anymore. Like, I think I would do that. And at least for a while, I would totally do that. If I could afford to. Like, I just want to get away from this fucking world, away from this fucked up society, away from the fucked up people and the fucked up places and the fucked up way of life and the fucked up cities and the crazy and just all the drama and the crazy shit. And I just want to get the fuck away from it. But it's like you gotta be rich to be able to afford to do that. I just want to be able to live my life in peace and fucking have a farm or something, but it's like I'm not even allowed to do that, you know? Because people are gonna force me into their fucking drama, force me into their bullshit, force me into their fucking stupid artificial situations in a stupid artificial world and stupid artificial bullshit to chase money and fucking deal with other people's fucking drama that they're gonna force down my throat, basically. And it's just like, what the fuck? So sick of it, man. I'm tired of being alone too, of not having any nobody cares about me. But I mean, the thing is, when you see how fucking absurd everything is, you can't really get along and have healthy relationships with people that don't see how fucked up everything is. You know, it's like. Because you just get gaslit constantly, you know? I don't know. There's this what was I gonna say? What is that thing called again? There's this parasite that cats get, but it doesn't affect them. And what it ends up doing, it ends up like it infects mice and infects human beings. Pretty much everything but cats, for the most part, gets infected by this parasite that kind of like controls the mind, right? So like rats will get infected by it, mice will get infected by it, and then the mice and the rats basically like fall in love with the cat that wants to eat them. That's basically what it does. So that's what I feel like I'm dealing with in the world. I feel like we're in a world of where I don't know. If I was gonna try and turn it into like a cartoon, it would be like I guess it'd be like a some weird horror science fiction version of Feifel or something, you know. I guess that was kind of horror sci-fi in itself, but no, I mean, it's like there's cats roaming around trying to eat all the mice, right? But most of the mice trust the cats and they love the cats and if you say anything bad about the cats, then all the other mice are there to attack you. Like, how dare you say that? And there's literally mice getting like ripped apart by cats, like right in front of all the other mice, and the other mice are like, "Oh, that, you know, defending the cat," and you know, like that's kind of the type of world that I feel like I'm in. It's like I don't know, like a bug's life, you know. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like the real I mean, there's a lot of darkness all over the place, and part of a big part of the reason for this is just the artificial scarcity of resources, man. People are getting robbed blind. Like, there's no reason why every single person in the world shouldn't have acres of land, you know, from the time they're born, basically. There's plenty of fucking land out there. There's plenty of resources for everyone. But we're just made to believe that it's scarce. And I mean, how fucked is that? Like, what do I mean? I mean, I cannot even begin to come up with the words
because it doesn't even need words really. It should just be so obvious how fucked up this is, that we live in a world where that doesn't have any place for us, where we don't have the basic goddamn necessities of life, and we're forced to struggle to make money nonstop just to rent things that other people lend to us while they take all of our resources from us. I mean, and that's why at the current time, the way the world is, I'd say, yeah, if this shit doesn't get fixed, then like we absolutely shouldn't be having children. Like nobody should be having kids, bringing kids into a world that this fucked up, that's so fucking unconscious that you don't even realize how fucked up it is. Like, so there's no effort to fix it. Like it's beyond fixing, basically at this point. I don't know. I guess it's kind of a weird analogy, but like the only thing I could think of as an analogy for this would be like, I don't know. Imagine if you're a bird and you couldn't land anywhere to rest. Like there's no land to that. Well, because every time you land, you're chased away, you're hunted, you're chased off, and you can't get more than a moment rest. Imagine how fucked that is. Like that's where the human species is now. It's like, for the most part, it's like, I come up with another analogy. I could probably come up with tons of it. I could come up with tons of analogies, probably. It's like what it feels like with this adulting shit or whatever is. It's like, I don't know. I mean, when you have to go to work to make the money to pay the bills, I mean that it's kind of like the same. It feels like the only way to have any freedom in this world that I can see, to even have like something resembling freedom, you'd almost have to be like wandering through the forest or something, like you hear stories of like
somebody going out on a hike and lost in the woods, or some kid being lost in the woods and he walks 50 miles or 100 miles through treacherous forests and survives. But it's like there's nowhere for you to stop. There's no destination. You just have to keep moving and try to survive. Like that's I don't know, man. This is fucked up. This place is fucked up. I don't want to play these stupid fucking games. It's like I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. It's like you're forced to play stupid games just just to have the most basic of things, shelter, the just basic comforts to live, to be able to rest, to at all. Never enough. I feel like an open wound that's never allowed enough rest to heal. Like a bleeding cut that starts to scab over, and then you have to get moving again, and the scab tears open. Bleeding starts all over again. And on it goes like that forever and ever. Forced to participate in a society that has no place for you in it. Yeah, I mean that's one of the big things that we've really lost. I mean, I just saw this guy's video. He was ranting about something similar about why there's like so many men basically going their own way and men that don't care so much about all the shit going on in society. It's not that you don't care, it's just that we have so many don't have anything. We don't have any stake in the fucking game basically. We're just trying to survive. So that's what made me think of that song, this land is our land. This land is made for you and me. So where's my, you know? Like I showed up to the pizza party and there's no pizza for me. That's kind of, yeah. Kind of feel like the stapler guy in that Office Space movie. Took my stapler and burned the building down, Remember that scene where like handing out cake for the whole office or whatever? And they keep handing him the cake and telling him to pass it down. And there's no cake left for him. Everybody else is just eating the cake in front of him. And he didn't get a piece. Nobody cares. Yeah. Pass it down, pass it down, pass it down. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been kind of isolated for so long in a lot of ways, just because honestly, I've been basically a targeted individual, and the only way in the past that I was able to get away from it for little periods of time to hold on to some little fucking remnant of my fucking sanity was when I lived with my mom. I would just basically lock myself in my room and not go anywhere, and I'd go out to the grocery store or whatever. I'd go out into the world to get whatever I wanted to get, and I'd go back to my cave or whatever, basically. I don't know what to do, man. Maybe I should. I don't know, man. Maybe I should go for disability or something. Just go let myself be diagnosed with a bunch of disorders or whatever the hell. Because I can't really think of anything that I can do here to without some sort of a fucking miracle or something like a winning lottery ticket or some big inheritance or some, like how the fuck I'm ever gonna have a goddamn home of my own or ever be able to have a family. Like, and even if I did have the money and stuff like that, like the system is so screwed up that, and a lot of the people are so screwed up that, like, I don't even know. And I've been isolated for so long, I've kind of lost some of my social skills and stuff like that, I really have, yeah. Because it's like, I really feel like people are predatory. Everything I do, everywhere I go, everyone I have to deal with is looking, it's all. Everybody wants, I mean, honestly, yeah, this is how I see the world. This is how I've experienced things. It's like, we're in a world basically where if you have, uh, if one person has an entire warehouse full of cake
and you have a tiny sliver of cake, the person with the warehouse full of cake wants your tiny sliver of cake, and they will become angry and violent with you if you don't give it to them, kind of thing. Seems that way. Or we're just fighting for scraps or whatever. And the poor that have nothing, they'll get angry and try to attack you over your sliver of cake. But they'll never try to take the cake from the guy who's got the whole factory full of cake, the whole warehouse full of cake, you know? I'm just using, I don't know, it's another weird analogy. Just, I don't know, I've dealt with people like my whole life. I've never really had that much. I mean, by comparison, I guess compared to somebody that's totally homeless and has nothing, yeah, I have, but I don't know. Like when I was living at my mom's and I didn't even have a job, I would do whatever little jobs, moving jobs or fixing computers for a little money or whatever, turning cans, trying to come up with a few bucks to put gas in my car, and what little bills I did have, I'd figure it out. And I'd have people showing up that had a house and acres of land and everything, and they'd be bumming cigarettes from me, asking to borrow money from me, you know? Shit. I have to make myself go back out there and just... It's getting so old though, man. I guess it's been the first solid year where I've worked and paid bills, paid my own bills, dealt with all this shit, and I've been working, you know, pretty steady to do this for like a year. But really all I've got to show for it is the fact that I currently have shelter over my head, but I'm never much further than weeks or maybe a month away from being, out on the street or something, basically. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to pay rent here, and I've got basically nothing to show for it, Except for this. I've got an old worn out mattress and a bed. I've got walls around me. Got a TV. I've got some food in the fridge and some water to drink. Got some vape juice. Some tobacco, but not really any life to speak of. I mean, hardly. Uh, I don't know how to move past this shit. I mean, when I had more resources to begin with, if I'd had a little help then, or hell, if I had a little help now to where I could save up over time, the only way to do that is to not pay fucking rent, not pay all these fucking bills, and continue to work and find some other way to have shelter for a while, and then I could build up money and I could maybe accomplish something in the long in the long term over a course of time. I mean, yeah, if my mom was still alive and I was able to live with her and all that kind of shit, right? While I'm working, making money, I could be saving up money and building my credit score further for years, and you know, in a few years I could be in a position to where maybe I could actually try and buy a house or buy some land or something, you know? I don't know, maybe I'm being overly dramatic about things. Shit's really fucked up though, you know? It is. I'm seeing that, like, probably. I don't see how in the hell I'm gonna get ahead this way, like, ever. It's a fucking road that leads to nowhere, to being trapped forever. And it seems like this whole world is set up that way to keep you trapped in one place, stuck doing the same shit in the same place around the same people forever and ever and ever until you fucking die. And it's gonna take absolutely everything away from you. You know? Like, that's. And maybe the only motherfucking way to have a chance of getting away from that is to just go be homeless. I don't know. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe that's just all there is. If you don't have fucking, you know, good friends and family and stuff that give a shit about you, maybe that's the only way there is. Just go live in my car, find some town that's more relaxed, and just sleep in the Walmart parking lot at night and start doing the Walmart Spark deliveries when I wake up, and do that all day, and then just keep doing that and doing that till I made up enough money to get some other fucking place to live, and then I don't know what the hell. It's just fucking. It all seems so fucking pointless. So empty and meaningless. I was fucking thinking. I wonder if that pasta, the stuff that I made with the chopped up hot dogs, I'm actually wondering if that might end up being better than the stuff that I made with the ground beef. Because there's less noodles, more pasta sauce. It's probably less dry. I don't know. Random, random thought there. No, I don't know. The stuff with the ground beef turned out good. Decent. I should have figured out the portions of stuff better. And I should have realized that I was making goulash, not a spaghetti type of thing, and had some kidney beans, you know. And some Parmesan would have been good, yeah. Extra oregano. Mm. Fuck, man. I don't know, I kind of just locked myself in the room today like I did yesterday. Yesterday I went out intending on going and working and doing stuff, but it's so fucking crowded and traffic is crazy, the parking lots, everything, I don't know, some kind of fucking holiday, Labor Day shit or whatever. So apparently that means that the population of the area has gone up times like 50 or something. There's like not even anywhere to park or hardly anyway, you know, and like multiple near miss fucking collision, you know, near collisions or something, just getting over to Walmart. I was like, you know what, fuck this. So I just canceled the fucking, you know, canceled my pickup of the order and drove the fuck back. It's like, well, let's see if I can just make it back, and, you know, I don't want to deal with it. Then I'm buying some beer, because that's brilliant. And just locking myself in the fucking room, and I don't want to go deal with it today either, because it's probably like that right now too. It's probably still all fucking crowded and shit like that. Maybe it'll be more chill tomorrow. People partied themselves out and got to the point of just trying to rest at their house or something maybe by then. I don't know. With a lot of people driving around, seemed like they must have been drunk or something, swerving on the road and just, I don't know, man. The traffic gets fucking crazy sometimes. All the little towns and shit around here are so massively fucking overpopulated now. It's fucking crazy. I don't know. That's one of the things that makes life so fucking miserable now. Is like these little cities. You notice how the cities never expand out? They just build up. They just stack people on top of each other and cram people closer together, and everybody gets less space and less breathing room and less, you know, just cram people together like. Like they're cramming us in cattle cars or something here at this point. Yeah, they're like kind of doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing with people as they do with like factory farming now. Like, you ever see the horrible conditions that like chickens in a factory farm live in, or cows? Like, they have them all like crammed together. They can't even hardly turn around or move at all because they're just packed in so tight. They're doing that with people too now. You notice that? That's basically where we're at. Like, we're on a farm, basically. We're the fucking farm animals. That's basically what we're. That's how I see our species now. It's like we're domesticated farm animals, kind of. And they've got us doing a bunch of busy work and stupid shit that's pointless and meaningless. Just in this fucking town that I grew up in, still in the same area, there were plenty of times when you could be driving down the street in broad daylight and there weren't that many vehicles on the road. Sometimes you'd even, as far as the eye could see in front and behind you, there'd be no cars, you know? Now it's like what it used to be like in freaking LA or something. It's not because of overpopulation, it's because they're taking all the people from across the world and cramming everybody together into condensed spaces and just siphoning all the resources and basically sucking the blood and the life force energy out of everyone. Well, like a few super rich motherfuckers live in castles on like millions of acres to themselves. Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. What do you see when you go from one city to another? In the same areas you've lived in your whole life. Did the city ever expand outward? Did the cities ever become closer to one another because they expanded outward? No, they didn't. They just stacked more and more shit into less and less space, and more people into less and less space. Made everything less and less efficient and less good. And, so yeah, there's like there's overpopulation in terms of the density that's being, the amount of people that are just being stacked, like practically piled on top of each other and crammed in together. It's not because there's an absence of fucking land and resources available. That's not true. There's not a deficit in land or in material resources. There's just like a handful of people that have everything, while the rest of us are like crammed in together and made to fight over scraps. Yeah, it's kind of like if there was so you get a whole, use the pizza party analogy on a larger scale now. It'd be like, say, you got a football stadium, say, 50,000, giant football stadium, 50,000 people, and like 20 or 30 of those people have 100,000 pizzas or 300,000 pizzas or whatever, and everybody else just like sits back and watches them eat all the pizza and laugh at us, and you got people like running down trying to dance. Oh, let me have the pizza. Come on, like dance, monkey, dance. You know, throw them a scrap of pizza. Like, oh yeah, look at me. You know, like yeah, basically. And then every now and then they'll just throw pizza up in the air and watch the most of the 50,000 people just come like charging at the field and like fucking tearing each other apart, killing each other for the scraps of the pizza, you know. Like that's what we got going. That's people getting trampled to death, getting their eyes gouged out, getting beat to death, arms and legs torn off, getting bit, you know. People are starting to resort to cannibalism, right? All these like 20 or 30 people just sit in their high tower and fucking laugh with and their fucking castle made of pizzas or whatever. Like that's the pizza party where we're at, man. Like this is the sort of shit that's being done to the world. That's just one example of a type of thing that's being done in the world. Like there's so many little things that are done that just make everything more inconvenient, more of a pain in the ass, and more frustrating and more difficult. For everybody, basically. I don't know if I want to get into that, but it's like the chaos and the stress and the suffering that's inflicted on the majority of people is inflicted on a majority of people by a tiny, tiny, microscopic minority of people, you know? Or like another example that of the sort of thing that, let's say we're using the pizza party and the stadium analogy, and there's 50,000 people in the stadium, and the stadium has, let's say, 10,000 bathrooms, and 25,000 garbage cans or something. Well, not only do those 20 people or whatever have, you know, pretty much all the pizzas to themselves or whatever in that stadium, but they also locked the door of, you know, 9,900 of the bathrooms, and they took, you know, 24,000 of the garbage cans and away, so that there's just trash piling up everywhere, and people are fighting to use the bathroom and they can't, you know, it's just on and on, right? And they blocked off the parking lot so that only like 1/10 of the people have a place to park, and everybody has to fight over parking. They blocked off lanes on the road to make it harder to get in and out of there. Like just everything imaginable, right? Like that's what we're dealing with here in the world. Like It's artificial scarcity. It's not that there's not enough bathrooms or enough trash cans for everybody to be able to get to the bathroom easily, for everybody to be able to throw their trash away. Plenty of pizza for everyone to get to, have a full belly. Plenty of, parking spaces for everybody to park their car. Plenty of lanes of highway for everybody to get in and out of there. But it's just all been arranged in such a way so a tiny, 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 tiny number of people has everything to themselves and everybody else is getting fucked while the tiny, 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 tiny percentage of people are sitting back laughing and like getting off on screwing everybody over basically. Mm-hmm. It's just like shitty management, it's rich, super rich fat cats that don't give a fuck about us, that have everything for themselves and don't want nothing for the fucking people. They're trying to wipe us out, basically. Like that's yeah. I mean, like take the pizza party analogy again. They would rather, like, say they've got hundreds of thousands of pizzas. They would rather let hundreds of thousands of pizzas sit there and rot and toss a couple of pizzas out here and there and watch people tear each other apart for them while the majority of the pizza just sits there and gets moldy and becomes a penicillin factory or whatever, right? They'd rather watch people tear each other apart and suffer and than to just be like, hey everybody, have some pizza. you know they'd rather people tear each other apart over who gets to use the bathroom than to just unlock the door to the fucking bathroom. They'd rather, you know, take away the 24,000 garbage cans so that there's garbage piled up and people get mad at each other and fight with each other and blame each other for the mess that's being made around them. That's it's artificial scarcity. It's not real. There's not a real scarcity of resources. It's just an itty bitty tiny minority has pretty much everything, and then the ones that like work for them and that are like good little servants of them, well, they get to have some pizza and they get to go use the bathroom. One of the ones that's locked, they get a key to go use the bathroom and they get some pizza. Here, you can have some pizza, buddy. You work for me now. You're going to make sure that nobody gets into those bathrooms. Nobody finds out that we've hidden all the garbage cans. You're going to make sure that they argue with each other over, who gets, and fight with each other over the scraps of pizza. Right? That's, yeah. Pizza party from hell. Ugh. All this talk about pizza. I made some kind of some pasta stuff, but I didn't have like all the ingredients that I should have had to do it right. I don't even have a really large pan to with me here. But you kind of want to have like a really big pot to cook everything up in properly. I kind of did a cheap ass pasta. I do it right. You get some like good sausage and proper spices and garlic and onions, and pick a really good quality sauce. Lots of actual Parmesan, small shredded Parmesan to melt up in there, right? Kind of went off on a tangent there, thinking about food. I don't know. Stuff I made turned out alright. Not bad. I don't know what the fuck to do. The world just seems so freaking screwed up, And the really weird thing is, like, people don't even notice shit. There's so many things that go on here that are so fucking obvious to me. And to a number of other people, these sorts of things are super obvious. But then to, like, the majority of people, they just don't even notice anything. And that'll drive you nuts. You feel like you're alone on the planet or something, And the cap on the bottle now. Spill my fucking water. I know this shit's so fucking aggravating, And at this point, there's so many things going on that are so obvious and so ridiculous, but people still don't see them. It's just like, what the I don't know, man. Kind of like the situation in the world it's a little. I mean, the Titanic is it's kind of a bad analogy, but like if you changed up the scenario on the Titanic a little bit, like let's say that in this changed up Titanic scenario, there's enough lifeboats for there's 10 times more lifeboats than it would take for everybody to get off the ship safely and be just fine. But you just have the super rich on the top, and then you've got all the people working for them are like locking the gates while people are, starting to drown on the lower decks. And they're just trying to get up to the top to get on a lifeboat, but everyone's like, there's all these people that work for the super wealthy that are trying to keep the poor, locked up below or something. Like, that's kind of where we're at. I don't know, man. Stupid rant.